I want to welcome everyone to our April 8th, 2026 Library Community Service Commission meeting. City meetings may be observed live on the Salinas channel on YouTube, Zoom, or Comcast channel 25. And regarding the Zoom webinar participation, Zoom's webinar participation is available for the members of the public. The Zoom webinar ID and link are available on the posted agenda on the city website. And now, could I have everyone join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to its republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. And now is our roll call. Leslie, please take the roll call.
Commissioner Larios. Commissioner Tafoya.
Present.
Commissioner Martinez. Commissioner Cervantes. Commissioner Gutierrez Garcia.
Present.
Commissioner Castillo.
Present.
Commissioner Fong.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. For our public comment procedures, if you wish to make a general public comment or comment on a specific agenda item, you are encouraged to attend the Library Community Service Commission meeting in person. Email public comments received have been distributed to the commission and will be entered into the record. Now, for the general public comment, we are now open for public comment on items that are not on the agenda and that are in the City of Salinas subject matter jurisdiction. Comments on agenda limited to 2 minutes per speaker. I may further limit the time for public comments depending on the agenda schedule. So, are there any public comments now?
Hi, good afternoon. Jose Ramon Villa Community. I'm here again to let you know that the Cesar Chavez Library is not open long enough for the kids to enjoy them. I had a constituent go down there and try to use the Microsoft and all the other stuff that you can use with the computer, and you guys hadn't paid the bill. I don't know if that's been done yet. This was about a month ago. So I don't know why, if we have all this money coming in, Ms. Lindquist, we don't have engagement and we don't have resources for our kids. And the hours are terrible, 12 to 5 some days. Sometimes they close at 7. I mean, when I grew up on the east side, I mean, that place was open till 9 o'clock. Now we have banker's hours. That's ridiculous for a library. I mean, you want to help the kids, but you don't, where are they going to study? And what's going on with the free internet it's supposed to have on the east side? That was like 5 years ago. Talked about it 3 years ago. And still we have nothing. I mean, I hate bringing negative press to you guys, but man, do your jobs. Get some people that want to work. If you want a 9-to-5 job, go work at a bank. Come work at the city and do something at the city for 9 to 5. But public service, it should be open later than that for the kids. All right, thank you guys. God bless you. It's my opinion.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments? Are there any on Zoom? No, okay. Now we go to our consent item, and it's ID number 26-148. It's regarding our minutes. We will now receive the minutes from March 11, 2026. Any comments from the commissioners?
No.
Not, we are now open for public comments on this item. Any comments on the Zoom? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes of March the 11th, 2026? Commissioners? Okay, Commissioner Lindis Castillo. Okay, and Commissioner Victor Tafoya, second. And all in favor, I'll have the roll.
On the motion to approve the minutes of March 11, 2026, please respond yes or no. Commissioner Tafoya?
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Fong?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Now for our considerations, ID number 26-104, request for name change of the Intermodal Transportation Center. We will now receive a report from the Assistant City Manager, Lisa Murphy.
Good evening, Commissioners. Lisa Murphy, the Assistant City Manager. Tonight, the item before you is a request for the name change of the Intermodal Transportation Center to the Salinas City Heritage Park. As you know, the city owns the Intermodal Transportation Center. I'm just going to go with ITC, make it easier, which is located at Station Place. The ITC is a 9-acre lot located in the city's central passenger rail and bus station that encompasses several historic attractions and parking for the transit station. A request to rename the site to Salinas City Heritage Park was submitted by the Heritage Park stakeholders. The ITC, as you know, includes multiple significant cultural and historical structures, which are part of Salinas's foundation and rich history. These include the Southern Pacific Freight Building, which houses the California Welcome Center and a portion of the building and storage in the back portion of the building, the Monterey and Salinas Valley Railroad Museum, and the First Mayor's House, as well as the Amtrak station. The city received a request from the Heritage Park stakeholders to rename the park. They did so in accordance with an established policy that the city has that is attached in your packet with changing names of city buildings and facilities. So in accordance with that policy, they submitted the application to the city, which has then been forwarded to this commission for consideration and to make a recommendation to the city council. If the commission decides to recommend moving forward with the change of the name, there is a 30-day public comment period, which will make open to the public prior to the council consideration. In your packet that you have before you is the letter from the stakeholders, as well as the naming policy procedure, which they have followed. One thing I do want to point out as part of the request that was in the original letter that you are not considering this evening is the request to change the location to designate it as a city park or to consider it as a historical location. That is a completely separate process. So we're just taking forward to you is the potential, the name change. So I conclude my presentation and I'm available for any questions. And I know we have a number of representatives from the Heritage Park stakeholders who are available also to answer questions. So thank you.
Are there any comments from the commissioners? Commissioner Nancy Gutierrez?
No comment.
And also, do you have any questions?
No questions.
And Commissioner Linda Castillo, do you have any comments or questions?
I don't know if there's any members from the committee that would like to share their feedback about how the name was picked out. That would be helpful for me for some context.
Certainly, and I think it's up to the pleasure of the commission if they would like to hear from the stakeholder group. And as I said, they're here and they're available for questions.
Okay.
I think it would be appropriate if you wanted to hear, ask them questions directly, it would be appropriate. Do you want to have a representative step forward to answer questions?
Good evening. My name is Denise Estrada. You see my name on the request. I am the liaison for the stakeholder group. I'm proud to bring forward this request. Also proud that the Historic Resource Board just approved a recommendation in a resolution coming to you soon, also approving this. We're very proud of this project. I've been involved in it since the 1990s, so a long time with it. This has grown over time, and it now meets the original vision that Ana Caballero, mayor at the time, started when we started to renovate this area. And this has so much heritage history there. First City Park was there, Bremen Park. Later, another park named there, Southern Pacific Park. It was the site of many community activities. Also, the first California Rodeo happened here. So it was a vibrant part of our community. We want to return it to that. To do that, we would like to have a brand name associated with that and signage appropriate to that, so people know where we are, what we're all about, and will join us in making this a public-private partnership between the city and the group of stakeholders that have already invested years and money, and we see a bright future ahead, but we do need to get a name here. We are calling ourselves Heritage Park without the formalization. So we ask, consistent with this recommendation, that you approve Salinas City Heritage Park as our name. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have questions that I need to ask?
No, I just appreciate your context and the history of it, and thank you for all of your work that you guys
Thank
have
you.
all put into it.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And to my left, Commissioner Victor Trefoya.
Yes, I have a question for Ms. Murphy. So I'm a little bit unfamiliar with this process as far as how somebody applies to rename a park or a library. So how exactly does this happen?
So I'll do the condensed version, because the full policy is in your packet and it's a little bit lengthy. But so any member of the community or even outside the community can submit a request for a name change for a city facility. It's received by the city clerk, and then there's a determination that this is the appropriate committee, this one here, to hear the request for the name change. This committee will then consider it, ask questions. They can approve the recommendation, and city staff is not making a recommendation. We're leaving that to you folks to make that determination. If you go forward and recommend with the name change, then we will do the 30-day public, open for public comment, and then we'll take all of the public comments, your feedback as well, and we'll take it to the city council, and the city council then will consider the name change.
Thank you. And the reason why I ask that is because I was a little confused as to why this was before the Libraries and Community Service Commission. And I took a look at the available documents that was included in the report. And apparently this was originally a park. So it made sense to me that this is coming before us. And so any renaming, let's say, of a park in our community, for example, the Cesar Chavez Park, would that come before us?
Yes, it
Okay.
would. It'd be the same procedure.
Okay, thank you. And then as far as the application, is there a fee for that?
Is there, excuse me?
Is there a fee for that?
No, no.
No. Got it. So anybody could just sign this application, send it forward, and then the appropriate bodies will listen and either recommend or approve.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the application itself, I did notice that the applicant mentioned that this would not include the parking lot. A question to the applicant, why not the parking lot and everything else?
Well, I'll jump in on that one. It's actually, it's two different parcels. So the parcel itself that encompasses the buildings is really what we're talking about, and not necessarily the parking lot. And there are potentially other uses that are going to come forward for the council to consider. Expanded uses such as possibly bus service from MST. So we're looking at other types of uses for that parking lot area. So it might not be, it may be in the future, down the road, but at this point, I don't think we think that that's appropriate for the parking lot area.
Okay, that makes sense. And then what is the, like, I guess, broader goal to the naming of this, of renaming of this space?
Well, I'm going to leave that. Denise, do you want to respond to that question? Because I think really this wasn't initiated by the city. This is initiated by the Heritage Stakeholder Group, and they can probably better define why they think this is the appropriate name.
Okay. Well, obviously, Heritage talks about our history. This site is the center of historic Salinas, so it only makes sense, considering the volume and the history there, to name it something appropriate to that. It's also consistent with the documents that the city's approved, the vibrancy plan, that's all listed in the report that I provided to you. For us, if we continued to be called the Intermodal Transit Center, we have always acknowledged that the park usage and transportation can be complementary to one another. However, if we really want to market the historic nature of the buildings and build heritage tourism around them, we need to brand that so people know what we have to offer there. Most people oftentimes don't even know what the ITC is. And as we build transportation around, whether it be the buses or expansion of the trains, we don't want to diminish that, but it's long overdue for us to identify and be able to brand and bring people to the site based on a name. And we've gone through many public meetings. We've had, they're listed in your report, lots of meetings where we've listened to the important input from a lot of different of the players. But we're at the point now is we're ready to move forward and really make progress at this site. Having a brand name gives us the ability to put it on signs and banners and start promoting what we have to offer there. Does that make sense?
I see. I have a follow-up question to you on
Yes.
that. So I hear marketing, I hear tourism, and it sounds like the broader goal is to promote this to promote tourism in the city of Salinas. Is that correct, or am I hearing that correctly?
We believe from day one, where the revitalization happened there, that was part of the vision for the area. We're next to Old Town Salinas and parts of Salinas, like the Asian cultural area that's building up. We see a vision for economic opportunities built on heritage tourism. It's not a new model. Many cities have done that and profited by it. So it's not a new model. We feel like that heritage tourism has its time and place in Salinas now.
I see. So I recently was looking through city agendas, and there was some sort of request for funds to that area. And there was some opposition to, like, this idea of trying to get this initiative going for tourism, and that Salinas doesn't have the capacity or doesn't have the attraction to bring tourism. What do you say to that opposition?
I would say that they're not well informed. What the funding is for the operation of our Keystone property in the Southern Pacific Freight Building, the Welcome Center. It's the one that greets people coming off the trains or whatever. We're already working on tourism there. Inside the Welcome Center, the big attraction is our Heritage Museum. It's an opportunity to educate not only the tours of children that go through there, but all of our visitors. It's a draw there. I can't speak to why somebody does not understand the vision as I do. I've been involved in it for so long, it's very clear to me. But again, we see the richness and the economic value of it, and we hope that the public will embrace that and understand why we're asking for an investment. The stakeholder group has been investing money, time, and sweat and tears in this for years and years, and we're asking the city at this point to be part of that and join the vision. We feel like we have the public support already. There are people who don't understand that and would oppose that, and you know, it's everybody has a right to their opinion there, but we feel strongly that investment was very important. Again, that is the Keystone property there, open all the time. Eventually, we hope to enlarge that so that we can be open more and more and more. But does
Thank
that
you.
answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you.
And sorry. My last question is for Ms. Murphy. So on the staff report, there is mention that this is not going to have a fiscal impact at this time. And from what I've heard, this is a public partnership, and I hear signage, and who is going to pay for that? Is it the city? Is it the private company? Or-
Well, we are already responsible for signage, and we have not done that. So waiting for some of these processes to be completed before we start investing in a number of signs. There are some signs in there, and at this point, they need to be completely replaced. Directional signs, some of the buildings and operators have changed. Greyhound doesn't have an office there anymore. So we already need to go through and do a wholesale signage program there that the city is going to be responsible for. But in terms of branding and marketing, there's some other banners, those types of things. The stakeholder group, they want to work on those banners and the branding, the logo, that's, and we're going to work in partnership with them, but much of that specific funding will come from them directly.
Okay, thank you. That's my last question.
Thank you, Lisa, for the presentation, the information. Also, thank Denise for answering some of the questions. And I personally like names, so we'll see where we go from here. We are now open for public comments on this item. Any public comment?
Hi, good afternoon, Jose Guerra, Montevideo community. My only question is going to be, how much is it going to cost? Because we keep trying to rename and rechange, and if you want to do signs, let's do them all. I mean, because Lindquist, our park needs a whole bunch of signs that need to be redone. That's Montebello Park. Let's start with our parks. You know, if we're going to start floating the money for everybody, let's get a dollar amount. How much is it going to cost? That should be brought here and to the public so we can know what we're going to have to pay for. Because the taxpayers are paying for this, obviously. Me and you and everyone else that works, that pays taxes. So why is that information not disclosed? Why is everything that we replace and we rename is a secret until they do it? There's no transparency when you guys do that. That's why you're not trusted. That's why Measure E and G are probably not gonna pass, and your parks are gonna be defunded because of that. No transparency. You guys need to be open with everybody. I mean, was there a meeting for this? I wasn't invited to it. Nobody invited me to this meeting to changing the name to a place I lived here all my life. I've been here over almost 60 years. No one invited me. Where was it posted? Where was the information at? See how you guys do stuff behind closed doors and let nobody know? You can't do that. Ms. Lindquist, you got to stop doing that. God bless you guys. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. We have another public comment.
Good evening, Commissioners. Don Chapin, local contractor and resident. I'm also the chairman of the board of the California Welcome Center, the Salinas Valley Visitors and Tourism Bureau. I'm here obviously tonight in support of this process that we've been going through for quite some time. We're really moving a project along that has been a work in progress for a long time. Heritage tourism is a real thing. It's big in this community. The one thing that you should also know about that particular site is it is the site of a national trail. There are not very many nationally recognized trails in the country. I believe there are 19. We have 2 of them in our community. One of them goes right through the heart of that property, and it was the expedition of Anza, the founding of San Francisco, 250 years ago. Actually, 250 years ago, about 2 weeks ago now. It's a very important historic site. The heritage there is amazing. The heritage of this entire community is there. It came through that depot. It came through that train station. Monterey was built through the doors of that building. Salinas was built through the doors of that building. A lot has happened here, and our heritage needs to be shown off. It's time for us to put our light out from under the bushel, make Salinas known that this is a place to come visit, come spend an extra day here, and come and see what we have. This name is really important to us. With the coming of Caltrain, with the coming of more service, rail service to Salinas, this is going to get ever more important. So I encourage you tonight to please help us with this. The signage, we have a grant from the Hardin Foundation of $10,000 to pay for our parts of the signage. The city has some funding set aside to pay for their part of the signage, so it's all paid for. We just need to get the designation, and then we can move forward. So really appreciate your time and the open door to hearing this process. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Bridget McGrath Massey. I also serve on the Welcome Center Board. I'm a business consultant, and that's my filter. Our mission at the Welcome Center is not only to introduce people to what is going on in Salinas, but to have them stay an extra night. And just so you know, with the soccer complex, there are over 12,000 participants and family members not using our local hotels. The Chamber of Commerce did a study. They're staying in Marina, they're staying in Gilroy, they're staying anywhere but Salinas. And our bread and butter is people using our local resources, our restaurants. And the other thing I can tell you from a marketing point of view, ITC just doesn't get it. I mean, people, when you use acronyms, they make up words that goes with. So when I got on the board of the Welcome Center, the first morning I drive up, Mr. Chapin convenes his meetings at 7:31, which is just wrong. But anyway, I'm pulling up, there's no sign. There's no sign on the outside. We're a Welcome Center, one of the 23 in the state, recognized for the excellence of the exhibits and the service that's provided. So I've also been deeply involved with the nonprofit sector, including the Steinbeck House, who sends everybody who eats there over to the Welcome Center. It's synergy, it's business, it's economic development. This is a big deal, and I really thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
So good afternoon, Board, and my name's Eloise Shim. I also happen to be on the Historic Resources Board, and this did come before us in the last couple months, and we did pass a resolution. One of the things, I think, was the possibility to change the name, but actually it's really, there hasn't been a lot of community involvement in this change. So the stakeholders, of course, have been planning it for a long time, but they haven't really involved the people, the neighborhoods there, asking those people how they feel about it, the people in the larger Salinas community. They haven't really been asked. And if you want to compare, say, changing the names of the Cesar Chavez, you know, that's going to take a process of asking people. And this is as big a deal as Cesar Chavez because Transportation Center, that Southern Pacific has been there since the mid-1800s, 1800s. So people think of that place that has Amtrak as a transportation center. So I just really think that there needs to be a lot more community engagement before you go ahead and sanction this as changing the name. Because there's other people in the neighborhoods there that haven't been included in the decision.
Good
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Craig Hoffman. I'm the Executive Director of the California Welcome Center and Heritage Center. Contrary to what was just said, the city did in fact hire an outside consultant, Harrison Associates, where they conducted engagement with the community at large. They held research in the community of the 100 block. We also hosted where it was engaged and invited the community for feedback. And so this has been such a long and drawn-out process. I'm sure some might not think that they were either invited or that nothing happened, but that's quite the contrary. Just to also mention, too, about the Welcome Center itself. It is in the oldest surviving commercial building in Salinas. Before that building was built, Castroville was almost 4 times larger than Salinas. That one building changed not only the direction of what Salinas was going to become, which is now the largest city on the Central Coast, but it also really set in place a lot of things for ourselves and the history of this town. The name Salinas City was really the original name of the town. It wasn't until 1919 that the voters decided just to drop city and just call ourselves Salinas. So it does represent the history of Salinas. I welcome all of you to come in and take a look at the Heritage Center, learn about the wonderful things that this town has to offer. And now that the downtown is really up and coming, I mean, I remember 15, 20 years ago, the Steinbeck Center was really the only thing that people went to downtown. And now we have this beautiful, renovated old town, and I think will just be a great complement to it. Not to mention the fact that when Caltrain comes, which will be a direct line coming from San Francisco, we have a unique opportunity to really start to engage and leverage off of the success that's happening at the peninsula. $3.2 billion of economic activity related to tourism is happening on the peninsula. We just need to bring them in 35 miles. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
Good evening, Commissioners. Will Llewellyn, resident, member of the board of the Salinas Valley Tourism and Visitors Bureau and former president of Hartnell College. Thank you for your consideration of this matter. My colleagues have spoken eloquently about, I think, most of the details. I would just add a couple of things. And one word comes to mind for me, and that's pride. And we need to exhibit more pride for this community. This is an opportunity to do that. Economic development, certainly, absolutely at the top. But I invite you to go down to the depot. People who get off that train, they don't even know where they are. Good luck finding a sign down there that even tells you that you're in Salinas. And the plans that we have through this public-private partnership with signage and all of that and revitalizing that area, there's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done. But the Caltrain is coming. And that's another opportunity there. But when people get off there, where are they? We want to tell them, we want to help them with wayfinding, signage, all of those things, and also some other opportunities around there. You know, you get off a train, you get off a bus, you get off a plane, what are you looking for? You're looking for a place to get a drink, something to eat. Good luck with that. Are there some places close by? Yes. Good luck finding them. So I think this is a unique opportunity certainly for economic development, but also for pride in this community. It has so much to offer. Please help us get there. Thank you.
Is there any other public comments? Any comments on Zoom? No? Okay, and then,
Hi, I'm Larry Smith. I'm a member of the First Mayor's House, been involved for 18 years there. Mr. Chapin talked about the heritage of the area. Also, that area had a pond, a park, a brewery, a bowling alley, 3 hotels, 4 United States presidential trains stopped in Salinas, and a communist leader's train from the Cold War era stopped in Salinas also.
thank you. Any more comments? If not, from my commissioners, is there a motion to recommend the city the Salinas City Council to consider the request from Heritage Park stakeholders to rename the Intermodal Transportation Center to the Salinas City Heritage Park.
I may be out of order, but I still have my question that I wanted to ask, and I know Commissioner went, and I was still formulating my thoughts. And so I really would like this answered or question, I would like to ask this question.
So I think we can go ahead and do that, but typically we fall in line. And
Okay.
so when it comes to each commissioner, that's your time to ask your questions. This is the only item, so if the chair is willing to allow it, we could ask another question.
Allow it.
Thank you so much. So I was just curious, and this also came as I was listening to the commentary. I was curious to the inclusion of city. I know that someone mentioned the historical reference that it was Salinas City before, and I was just curious if that's why you chose to leave the word city in the name versus Salinas Heritage Park.
Yes, I mean, that was the founding original name of the town, Salinas City. Okay. Yeah. Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, now, do I have a motion from one of my fellow commissioners?
Yes, I'd like to make the motion to receive the report regarding the request from Heritage Park stakeholders to rename the Intermodal Transportation Center to Salinas City Heritage Park and forward recommendation to City Council for consideration.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I second that.
Okay, now we have a roll.
On the motion to receive the report regarding the request from Heritage Park stakeholders to rename the Intermodal Transportation Center to Salinas City Heritage Park and forward a recommendation to the City Council for consideration, please respond yes or no. Commissioner Tafoya?
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Fong?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Now we come to the commissioner's report, and I'll start at my left. Commissioner Victor Tafoya.
Yes, I would like to make a request. I saw that was a, I believe, CIP project approved yesterday for the El Gavilan Park. When the schematics become available, I'd like this commission to review them and take a look at them. And then, recommendation that once the project is fully completed, that there be a ribbon cutting ceremony for the park. And then one more thing, the survey that is out right now for the expansion of the library hours. So I've been serving on this commission for 3 years now, more than 3 years now. And one of the very first few things that we had discussed was this same exact topic. And it's been 3 years now since I've been waiting for some change to happen. And nothing really has happened. I remember we had received the results, and there was some conclusions drawn from the survey as to when residents of this community wanted to have the libraries expanded. But what fell short was to take action on this. And so I like to, there be a sense of urgency when implementing these library hours, expanded library hours, and if we could get that done, put it, if possible, I know there's a lot of things to do, but at, higher priority. So summer is coming around the corner, and kids are going to need somewhere to be, and it would be great if they could be in our libraries. Thank you.
Commissioners to my right, Commissioner Linda Castillo.
No updates.
And Commissioner Nancy Gutierrez.
Yes, I just want to say to everybody out there that is watching this and everybody here that tell everybody to participate in the community participation I always tell them that if you don't say anything, nothing is going to be done. So please participate in everything. There is the City of Salinas website, the Salinas Public Library website. They always post different things that are going on around the community. Please tell everybody to participate and say something about either if you like it or you don't like it, but please say it.
Thank you. And my only comment is that just want to remind everyone that the Asian Festival is on April the 25th, and it will start at 11, but try to be there earlier because it's going to be a large crowd. And it'll start at the Chinese Community Center, and there's a lot of names for that building. I've been going there since I was like 6 years old. I went to Chinese school there. So the building is also called Chinese School. If you look at the old telephone directory, it just has Chinese School. So, and there's many different names. Now it's, I think Confucius Church is on there, Chinese Benevolent Organization, but it's actually, the official name is CAS, Chinese Association of Salinas. And that was something that we got to rename the organization. So I know the process of going through this, but I want to just welcome everybody to go to that. But it will start at 11 o'clock at this Chinese school or the Confucius Church. And that's my only announcement. And now to our director, Kristen.
Thank you, Chair and members of the commission. I have several updates for you. First, I want to start with thanking Ana Ambris, who was our rec park superintendent. She has left the city and moved on to another organization. Her last meeting was at the last commission meeting when I was not here. She has been instrumental in a number of our projects across the city, in our parks and our rec centers. So I truly appreciate her work, and I wish her well in her new endeavor. I also want to share and thank Tim Kolker. He also, our deputy librarian, has moved on to another organization, and so I wish him well, and we thank him for his service as well here to the Salinas Public Libraries. Those are our two main division head positions. So those are big gaps in terms of how we move things forward. So please bear with me and be patient as we move forward. Ernesto Lizaola, our community education manager, is filling in as the interim deputy librarian at this point. There's a couple of events and different things coming up that I want to share with you. There will be two meetings regarding Measure G to share information about how the city is utilizing those funds. One on April 15th at the Santa Lucia Room at the Community Center, and the other will be April 29th at the Police Department, and those meetings will take place from 6 to 7. Just so you're all aware, Measure G does fund a significant portion of our budget from the park and recreation side and neighborhood services. So if you're interested, I would encourage you to attend one of those meetings. As Commissioner Tafoya mentioned, we did just award a contract to renovate the El Gavilan Tot Lot, which is over on Toro Drive. The playground area, the blacktop area will get a refresh, and we're going to install a multi-use court, so we can certainly bring back the conceptual designs or the actual construction drawings so you can see what that looks like. This will be a much-needed improvement to that park. If anybody has been to the Hebron Family Center in the new renovation, there's a multi-use court that's in the back area as well, and so it'll be very similar to that as a gated area that offers both basketball and soccer for our youth and families. The Kloster Park renovation project is continuing, and we're nearing substantial completion, which means then we'll be entering the maintenance phase, which is 120 days. So we're still on target for an opening likely end of August, September time period. So that'll be a great celebration for the community, and we'll keep you informed about that time frame. The Sherwood Rec Center, the former aquatic center, you've heard from us in the past about renovations and finalizing that project, so that construction is underway as well. And we anticipate being able to open that facility, which will focus on wellness, youth sports, likely in July, so more information to come for that. Our neighborhood services team, in collaboration with the More Salinas, is hosting the Earth Day Festival on April 25th from 11 to 2 at Sherwood Park. So I encourage all of you to attend that as well. The Building Strong Neighborhood series, which I think we've had staff present to you before, will be going over the special event process in their next session, which will be April 20th from 6 to 7 at El Gavilan Library. And this will be an opportunity to help educate and share with community and event organizers what it means to go through that process and how we can be supportive of them and their events. The city is also holding a State of the City event on April 30th at 6 p.m. at Sherwood Hall, so I encourage you to attend that. And then finally, I want to highlight that National Library Week is coming from April 19th through the 25th. The City Council just did a proclamation on behalf of National Library Week. National Library Workers' Day is Tuesday the 21st, so I want to give thanks publicly for all of our library staff and the great work that they do. So if you happen to be in one of our libraries, please thank them for their work, and that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. And now, Leslie, could we confirm the attendance for our next meeting?
The next regular meeting of the the next regular meeting of the Library and Community Service Commission is scheduled for Wednesday, May 13th at 6 p.m. At this time, I will call the roll. Please respond yes if you plan to attend this meeting or no if you will be unable to attend. Commissioner Tafoya.
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez Garcia.
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo?
Commissioner Fong?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I want to thank everybody for joining us for tonight's meeting, and everybody have a good evening and safe drive. And now meeting's adjourned.